Meantime, we need to get a little perspective here. Take a step back and look at just what these numbers indicate for the entire auto industry. How likely are we to see an industry comeback, and who's going to lead the way? Joining us from Los Angeles is J.D. Power and Associates President Finbarr O'Neill. He's a veteran of the auto industry, former CEO and president for both Hyundai and Mitsubishi North America. Good morning to you. Thanks for getting up early out there on the West Coast, Mr. O'Neill. I want to ask you, there's a lot of excitement about some of these numbers, particularly reflected in Ford shares and how they're trading today. How significant is a sales increase in the month of July for a company like Ford? And what does this indicate in terms of whether demand is back for autos in a real sense?
Well, I think we have to be careful. The demand really has been prompted by the Cash for Clunkers program. And there's a certain pull-ahead factor, as there often is with these various incentive programs. Ford, however, should be very pleased with their results. The F-150 continues to lead the way, and that has been one of the best and most effectively launched vehicles in this past year.
Okay. Well, when we look at the fact that Cash for Clunkers has already run out or is close to running out of the funding that was initially given, that $1 billion, the White House saying they want to extend the program. There being a move in Congress to potentially tack on another $2 billion worth of funding. What does this actually mean? Is this just simply subsidizing consumer demand, or will that continue if we can't get that $2 billion tacked on to Cash for Clunkers? Is there a sign of hope other than that government subsidy when you look at autos right now?
Well, there is, as I said, the pull-ahead effect, but we think perhaps there'll be a bump of 100,000 units or so, maybe a little more, especially if they extend the program. All said, though, we still hope for a stronger demand. There is pent-up demand coming from this program. There's excitement in the market. Various of the OEMs are adding their own incentives, so we're hoping to see more activity in the second half as the economy gets a little better and people get a little bit more excited now. But there is demand for cars. I think that's what it tells us, bottom line.
If you were still in the executive suite at Mitsubishi or at Hyundai, what would you be doing right now to sell your product?
I would certainly be leveraging this program and trying to create excitement, get people back in. You know, people have postponed their demand for cars. The retail number we expect for the year is only 8.3. That is way below what the natural demand is. And whereas the numbers we were used to in previous years were perhaps inflated by fleet, et cetera, the numbers we have right now are just way below natural demand. Getting people excited, that's the key.
Right. Well, how do you do that? Because that's naturally going to be constrained by people's ability to pay for the car, no matter how excited they are, because of access to credit being difficult and just how the Cash for Clunkers program functions. How do you match excitement with actual ability to purchase?
Well, I think you stress two things here. One, of course, is incentives. Unfortunately, for OEMs, they're going to have to continue with that, and leveraging the government's offer is one program to obviously get it kicked off. The second really is to the extent you have high mileage per high gas mileage vehicles, where you can present savings on something that's 25, 30 miles per gallon. That's why we see Camry, Accord, Civic, Corolla doing very well.
Now, you were in the executive suite at two Japanese auto companies. You've been vocal about your thoughts about the auto industry. You've written about it in Wall Street Journal. You say that the dominance of the Japanese auto companies isn't necessarily something that should be assumed here. How do American manufacturers get in there and truly compete with Japanese or with other foreign car makers who may have more of a level of excitement about their product?
Yeah, you do it one at a time with every new car launch. I mentioned earlier Ford with the F-150 did a perfect launch, worked down the inventory, priced the product right. General Motors has a number of new vehicles in the pipeline, and if they can execute their launches effectively, then they're going to create excitement around their product and I think maintain market share. SUV
is a thing of the past then?
SUVs are going to decline, but not the CUVs. Basically, an SUV on a car platform is still going to be a very successful vehicle because of the good gas mileage and the attractiveness of the vehicle, good handling, and it's environmentally friendly.
All right. Thank you so much, Finbarr O'Neill, president of J.D. Power and Associates. Thank you for making sense of some of those numbers, a little perspective there as excitement returns, particularly about Ford today.